Casper,
What's going on?
we need to clear something up. Take a seat.
Clear what up?
Aiden thinks it's his fault that you're retiring.
I'm sorry, Casper. I do respect you. Quite a lot, in fact. And I don't want you to retire. I didn't mean the things that I said. And I want you to know that if you're retiring because of me, I'll...
Will you tell him? This anxiety, it's no good for his performance.
I'm not retiring because of you.
Everyone says...
I'm not retiring because of you. Can I go now?
No. You're going to give him 2 minutes of your time.
Well, Brian, what am I? His therapist?
2 minutes, Casper. That's all.
Everyone says...
Everyone's an idiot. Look, I'm not retiring because of you. I told Brian after Zandvoort. I'm sorry you found out the way you did.
It's tough.
Yeah, can be.
The press. Social media. I don't know. How'd you deal with it all?
Listen. There's only a handful of us in the whole world who get to do what we do.
Yeah.
A handful. You deal with it by never forgetting how lucky you are to be here. Understand? Never forget.
Hey, Casper,
Yeah?
do you ever forget?
Sometimes. Sometimes we all do.
It's Sunday and that means it's race time here in Spa. As the cars are being prepared, let's join them trackside for the start of the Belgian Grand Prix.
You know what's the best thing to do when you're in a slump is you go outside on the morning of a race and you do a little rain dance. You especially do it around Spa because you never know what is going to happen. Round you got maybe one part of the circuit, even if it is raining, one part of the circuit's raining, another part's totally dry. It can lead to some crazy results and some conditions where it's unpredictable and you have to be in position to take advantage of it. And the forecast was rain for Spa. It said it would actually rain at the start of the race. Of course it doesn't. But we just knew the rain was coming. No one knew exactly when or how hard. So we had to push early on. Casper had not had the best qualifying. Aiden out qualifying for the first time in a while. And after the summer break, you know, the team were refreshed. Everyone was refreshed. And we had hope. The whole team had hope for the first time. You know, Casper was hopeful ahead of Zandvoort, but apart from that, the whole team had been, you know, not in despair, but after the season opener, you know, it's been a tough time for them, you know, especially for Aiden with the pressure of being built up as, you know, the next maybe Mercedes driver. Lots of talk about him, and those have been seen in the paddock at quite a few races, and putting him in that frame to be alongside the world champion. Pressure maybe got to him in his second year, but he came back, you know, looking as fresh as a daisy. Casper had a fantastic season so far, and he was a bit of a specialist round Spa as well. Casper, he's won round here in the past and always seemed to go well round him with all the upgrades we had brought to the car. Like we expected him to be battling not just for the points, but maybe even the top 5 as well, because he's been electric on race day, as he showed before the summer break in the likes of Austria and his home race at Zandvoort. And despite Aiden out-qualifying him, like, Casper got going early on, put a tough mood on his teammate, and two of them both nurtured that, so they actually were speaking to each other for the first time in a while, so the tensions within the team were kind of eased slightly. They were still there. They hadn't reached the détente yet, but they were improving. And for Casper, he just got on it in the race. Aiden had a great qualifying, but again, bit of the opposite of last year. Like, Aiden kind of dropped down in the race, Casper pushed on. And he was again battling the likes of his fellow veteran Alonso. And we were right in form with the McLarens as well. And no one was getting in his way. I remember he made this bold move on Alonso through Bonchmont. The rain starting to fall. No one does that to Alonso. But Casper was today. He was on top form. He was in the Drivers' Championship. He was in the top 10, a solid top 10. But Aiden was, struggling to get close to the top 10 in Drivers' Championship, struggling to score regular points. The whole team as well. After the early season, success had dropped back behind the likes of Aston Martin, AlphaTauri, McLaren, Ferrari. We were stuck battling for scraps, stuck battling to be in the points. The previous few races, especially at Hungary, is probably our lowest point of the season. Nowhere near the points, nowhere near getting out of qualifying 1 even. But when the rain really came, so did the experience from Casper, and maybe Aiden, a bit of inexperience, so he'd rarely driven in the wet in F1, even though he's been in it for a season and a half. It has rarely rained on the calendar, but Casper loving Spa, knowing what to do with the car and where to push it, knowing which sections get wetter, and being able to once again just manage his race beautifully. As he came in early on, even though it was a bit of a struggle in pit lane, like you could see how damp it was. Like, he's almost bouncing from wall to wall ahead of Ricciardo. I'm sure the Australian was pretty scared of what the Williams was doing in front. And the pit crew did a superb job getting Casper out. Pit crew have been among the best throughout the whole of the teams, and got him out just behind Norris as well. So he jumped one McLaren already. We're looking to jump the next one. Even though, again, we had the Ferraris on the tail of the Leclerc, and, Sainz was around as well. And we pitted Casper on the right lap. We pitted Aiden maybe a bit late, and that really handicapped his race. Like, he fell down the order massively and never could regain time lost after that first pit stop. But for Casper, we timed it perfectly, and they had a manic lap out of the pits because he still had drivers staying out there. Because the rain, it was heavy enough winters, but wasn't getting much heavier. It looked like it was only after a lap or two that the rain started to fall heavier. And having the likes of Stroll and especially Mazepin out there, it was just hampering these drivers on the right tyres. And if we're lucky, there was no incidents, especially with the Haas, and that everyone could get out there. As Aiden stayed out there, a lap later. But Casper was on a roll. He got up to, I think it was P3, maybe even... yeah, P3. He got up ahead of Bottas. That's how much the undercut was on that lap. Having it on the wet tyres compared to the Mercedes, you had to stay out longer because Hamilton pitted that area with Verstappen. So Bottas was stuck behind us, not for long. But Casper was doing a superb job once again, just like in Zandvoort, battling a Mercedes for a podium, and we're on cloud 9 at this point. Has there been a struggle just getting points? The back in fighting for the podium, seeing Casper take advantage of the mixed conditions, like, it was superb. Everyone was biting their fingernails. I don't think anybody had fingernails left at the end of this race. And when, you know, like, the rain was getting heavier, there was only a few laps left, and with Casper, he'd already made their mind up that he was going to stay out. Aiden, you know, uncomfortable in the conditions, like, he actually pitted early, but too early. But Casper, he was like, I will stay out. There's a chance here for victory. Remember his final season as well, maybe his best chance to get a victory as well in mixed conditions. And I remember there was a MotoGP race around this time. Brad Binder did this at Austria. He did it around the Red Bull Ring. He stayed out on slicks on a wet track to win. And Casper, I'm not sure if he's seen that race or not. He had a similar idea. Like, everyone was pitting, but he stayed out. He saw that if he could just hold on to the end, there was a good chance for victory. And in the early stages, the pace was similar between him and Verstappen and Hamilton, but then with a couple of laps to go, they start to speed up as track got wetter. But we had seen on the radar that he was actually drying up on the final lap, so if he could hold on to the final lap, then Asper could probably hold on, maybe even put away the last lap or two, and that's what happened. Onto the final lap, everyone was relaxed. Everyone was preparing for the team photo after the race. Casper, he drove like it was 2008 again. He was outstanding. And everyone was on cloud nine. We had like the team dinner after this race as well. And I've never seen a happier team heading to that dinner, at least in my time with them. Has no one was beating Cass that day.
Absolutely awesome. Just amazing. Well done.
Another top 5 finish for Williams. Amongst the drama ants, they've been quietly racking up some good points.
Yeah, it's caught me off guard a little bit, actually. When you look at the table, you realise they're not doing as badly as you might think.
Williams have been nothing if not entertaining this year, for good or for bad. It'll be interesting to see how they fare by the end of the season. It looks like it's time once again to hand out the silverware as these successful drivers make their way to the podium. It was a gritty performance today by Williams, and they've got the race win to prove it.
All I'm saying is that the team are back in the mix this season. That's how good you've done.
Yeah.
You're ending your career on a high just like you wanted. You really couldn't ask for much better. You want one? What's wrong?
Nothing. What? Nothing. I'm fine.
You haven't driven like this in ages. You're out there having a great time. You're raking in the points, but you're doing your moody face.
I'm not doing my moody face. Stop that.
Like this.
Okay. It's Aiden.
What about him?
Well, he's still not right. He's moping around, anxious, apologetic. I think he's struggling.
I thought you were going to ignore him.
Yeah, but he's just a kid. He needs support.
From you?
So, how many races have I got left?
What's this all about, Cass?
Let's say that I've got 3 or 4 months left in F1. What if...
Go on.
Nah, forget it.
No, what?
You laugh at me.
Promise not to.
It just sounds so stupid.
What does?
What if I can...
Oh my God.
What?
You've gone soft, haven't you?
I knew you'd make fun of me.
You want to make the F1 world a better place before you retire. You want to help the team, help Aiden, your own career be damned.
And what if I did?
So Casper Ackerman does have a heart after all. I'll alert the media.
No, Zoe, I'm serious. What if I did?
What could you do?
Well, Mercedes has got a seat coming up next season. Some say they might even sign him. That is his dream.
And you think you could help?
I honestly don't know.